Hey all, welcome back to the channel, and today we're continuing to take a look at the Transformers Legacy Wave 2 Deluxes with Prime Universe Knockout. Is he good enough to be an effective homage to the egotistical Decepticon medic? Well, we're about to find out in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe while you're at it, let my baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links, all of that in the description down below, also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we have to offer to you through spring. Or of course you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. And I was unsure if I wanted to actually have this guy. When I first saw that it was a reuse of the Jazz mold, I said, man, that doesn't look like Knockout, really. Like the whole chest and torso is wrong. And then I saw some later on of the alt mode and I said, nah, the car looks pretty good. And there seems to be a sheen on him. I don't know if it's a lot of paint, if it's the plastic that they're using or what. But maybe, just maybe, he is good enough. Well, is he? Well, we're about to find out when we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And so, yes, this is another part of Legacy Wave 2 with Prime Universe Knockout. I was so on the fence about this guy. At first, I wasn't going to get him. Then I thought that he had a real nice sheen to his paint as we saw more images. Anyway, as it would turn out, Starscream Wife would pick this guy up for me. A few dollars cheaper than going retail here. So I got him a little bit cheaper, and you know, when your wife gets you something, man, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth, so to speak, right? This is the packaging. It is flimsy cardboard, I gotta say. I mean, the artwork and stuff is nice. We see beautiful art here. I mean, we got the close-up of his head sculpt and face here. This is nice. Obviously, I still like seeing it. I don't like the not having the plastic there. Just showing the packaging now with all this like orb open looks weird. It's probably better to show it with the character still in there, just to kind of fill it in a bit. Over here, our usual Decepticon fodder, and back here we have the typical product images of his alt mode and his robot mode. Here we have the instructions. They're fine if you need them. I don't really think you do. We also have this smoky translucent colored, I don't know what we call it, trident, I guess. There's a peg I'm holding onto on the back, so this can go on his forearm like as a shield. I'll show that later. We also have a couple of pegs or peg holes up top that I guess you could use. And the paint that's on it is kind of a metallic, like baby blue type of paint. It's pretty nice, actually. And this gray unpainted blaster, you'll notice I'm holding onto a peg. You'll notice there's another peg up here. That's for when you want to kind of have his trident put together, and it kind of looks like this. Right, so the handle on the back is what I'm holding on to, and there's a peg on the front there if you want to put it on his back. Which, of course, brings us to the vain bad boy Decepticon medic himself with his spear on the back. So you can certainly do that for storage if you're so inclined. Or, and I guess I'll show this now since I'm here, if you don't want to do that, you can, I guess I should just point out that you can put it in his hand, thusly. I guess you could use the other peg here too if you really found a way to do it, or the one at the end. No, you can't use the one at the end. The one at the end isn't big enough. It might be Blast Effects compatible. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have a Blast Effect here to do it, although it looks a little too big for Blast Effects. Or you can take the two pieces apart and you can put one there as a blaster and then this one over here as like a trident blade shield thing, I guess. If you're so inclined, you can do those sort of things. Whoa, I don't have him kind of straight here at all. There. So, although he's still not quite standing straight. I don't know what I got done there. Something with his feet, I'm sure. But you get the idea. And here we have Lockdown next to his mold mates, basically. Certainly his skeleton mates, if you will. Jazz, and I looked at the 86 Jazz, a long time ago, really, back in episode 828. I also looked at him as part of a bunch of upgrade kits in episode 856. And I looked at the toy hack set for Jazz in episode 859, very shortly after. Of course, next to him we also have Jackpot. Jackpot, of course, part of the Golden Disc collection, an Action Master originally, and that was episode 940. I feel like the most fragile use of this mold is Jazz. It's also the one that, you know, be warned, it's also the one that has reports of turning yellow, really at the shoulders, the thighs, the hinge behind the head, and kind of down the back. I feel like mine might be starting. And Jackpot is great, except his head isn't lined up the way it should be. Will the newest version of that mold be incident-free, QC-free? I don't know, I guess we'll see. I will also not really show the transformation here because we've already seen it with Jackpot and Jazz in both directions, so we already know how it goes. I'm going to tell you now, the transformation is generally pretty smooth, but I'll talk about that a bit more when we get to vehicle mode. And here he is next to the Beast Hunter's version of Knockout. Unfortunately, I don't have the original, so let's talk about his coloration. I think that the new Legacy Knockout is in the spirit of Knockout. I think it's more recognizable as Knockout than RC is as RC, and really than Bulkhead is as Bulkhead. Though I will give credit where credit is due. I think the best kind of G1-ified head sculpt is Bulkhead's because it does still look like him. This is reminiscent, but the center head crest is a little bit too small. Like, it should be taller like this gold one here, and it should be silver, of course, by rights. The tires should be back behind the shoulders, but I can accept that they fold up under the chest. No problem. Here, the tires are on the side, and it was the same with the original mold. But in the show, the tires kind of went in behind the leg. So being able to turn the tires like on the Legacy is okay. The thighs are the right color. The kneecaps being kind of black, they should be sort of silver with like yellow highlights. The red shins, that's good. The feet being red, well, the feet should actually be gray and pointed more, but they tried to do the point, so I get that. I guess the side door pieces that fold in on the back of the Jazz mold should really be on his arms. I think they could have done that. I think they could have taken, instead of having them folded on the back, I think they could have worked it so that they were probably on the arms, but it might have required parts forming, and a lot of people don't like that. For me, I look at this Legacy Knockout, and I can take this guy, well, no, I'll leave this guy here for a second. I look at the Legacy Knockout, and I think it's about an 8.75. It's the coloring is generally in the right spot. I would like, here's what I think would have put it over the top for me. I don't even mind that the center head crest is down a bit. I mean, he has a nose, whatever. That's all fine. I can even accept that he doesn't really have like points here coming off of his shoulders. They're kind of molded there a little bit, like you kind of get the idea maybe they're supposed to be there, but I can accept the shoulders being redone. I think what they should have done is probably take out the center tummy piece that rotates around, right? That like silvery piece down underneath, that little silvery piece down there. I think you could have taken that out, and when you remolded the hood, maybe somehow do that in 3 sections with the hinge behind the center, and have the center of the hood be able to push down more to sort of become the chest and tummy like it does here. When I saw it, I was like, there's still something off. It's obviously kind of Jazz cosplaying a bit. But I do like the fact that they're remolding stuff because the vehicle looks kind of spot on. I can accept a lot of the stylization is pretty good, but I do wish that there was a way that they worked it so that the center of the chest did come down. That's the only kind of real gripe I have there. Otherwise, it's pretty good. 8.75. What about the articulation of this version? Well, first thing to note, this still goes up and down as it did before. It seems like all of this now is not translucent. It is translucent up under here. But it doesn't feel, like I said, it feels sort of delicate to me with Jazz. And I didn't find that it felt delicate to me with Jackpot, and it doesn't feel delicate here. It's not bad, actually. Anyway, head goes left, right, up, down a bit, a little bit of a quizzical or like, you know, knockout is judging you view. The arms can go all the way around, out to the side, bicep swivel, 90 degree at the elbow. I don't think there's a wrist rotation here. No, there's not a wrist rotation. Well, I find that we're losing wrist rotation more and more often. Like, if we're starting to give up pieces of articulation, I think wrist rotation is one of the first things that's going again. Worth noting, we have a waist, very free-flowing. We have legs that can kick forward, legs that can kick back, very deep knee. Now that being said, it's deeper than it should be. It should be about 90 degrees, but if you break the peg in the knee, so to speak, you can get deeper. Thigh swivel, hips out that far to the side, toe like kind of down and forward, ankle tilt to the side, and I think that's about it. Again, everything is kind of there that I would sort of want, especially for a deluxe size. I'm going to say, except for the wrist, I wish that we had a wrist because we've become accustomed to it. I'm going to say 9.5, I guess. I mean, you can get a ton of poses. He's solid on his feet, so 9.5, 8.75, and 9.5. I don't know, we're at like a 9.1. He's quite good. Like I said, we don't need to show the transformation because we've already seen it before. So we can kind of just go from him looking like this to boom, knockout looking like this in his vehicle mode. And boy, oh boy, does it look good. So the transformation here I find to be very, very good, honestly. I'm gonna give it a solid, again, 9.5. It's actually quite good. And it does feel, to me anyway, more robust and solid than Jazz. I don't know if it's quite as robust and solid as Jackpot, but it might be on par. Once everything goes together here, it's solid as attack. Everything does clip in, snap in very nicely. If you're concerned about the clear or translucent plastic, I feel it's pretty durable here. I don't feel like I need to treat it with kid gloves, which is nice. We can put his accessory, if it's in one piece, up on top, or you can use these two peg holes like back here if you want to put one on either side. In terms of being accurate to the vehicle, I mean, it's still slightly stylized, but we do have more of the correct paint on the side here. We don't have as much here on the top. Arguably, there should be some more there. That really depends on if you're going by animation or the toy or whatever, and it depends on the angle of the animation and stuff. So we're certainly missing like maybe some of the more maroony color here in the center, maybe some of the maroony up on the roof, maybe a couple of like yellow line highlights here. The headlights here are like black rather than a silver with a little yellow up in the corner. You know, I do very much like the silver grille. I love that they did the yellow wheels. I think that was a wise choice. It's generally the shape that he should be. The only thing that's a real kind of bummer where this is knockout is we have nothing on the back here at all, and he does have like a yellow or a silver highlight that goes right across with some like red little lines and a little bit of yellow highlighting, so like we definitely could have had more there on the back, I think. But as it is, for something that is somewhat stylized, trying to kind of be a fit for legacy while being an homage to Transformers Prime, I think this is one of the more successful uses. I think everything works pretty well. I just wish, the only kind of gripe I can levy, and the only thing I kind of just wish, is that we had gotten a chest that was able to come down farther. Maybe if had the chest been in like 3 separate pieces. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a designer, but I think had they been able to capture the chest, everything else here works. Is it a perfect representation of Knockout? Should you replace your Transformers Prime Knockout with this? Probably not to replace it, but if you're in specifically for the legacy aesthetic, it's a good use of the mold. It's a strong remold, and the overall score with a 8.5 for his paint, 9.5 and a 9.5. I'd say that this guy's a solid 9.25. Overall, it is a great Transformer in the lineup and a great offering from Legacy. And here we are, and here he is. Look, I'm going to keep this very simple. If you don't like the Studio Series 86 Jazz mold, then you're probably not going to like this, because there's nothing here that's going to make you like it or dislike it more. I will say this, out of all three of the copies, so to speak, of this mold, I think that this one tabs in the most secure. They all tab in quite securely, but I feel like this one is the most secure in vehicle mode. I don't feel like anything is delicate here, but some people might. That could be, you know, results will vary. I think mostly it works. I think mostly it captures the character. I think it does it better than Bulkhead. I think it does it better than RC. In RC's case, the big weakness is that I don't think the head was captured. The body looks like RC for the most part, but the head was, I just didn't see RC. With Bulkhead, I think it is a spot on head, even if updated with the nose, but the body from the neck down is 100% not Bulkhead. This guy I think is great from, say, the waist down. I think all of the waist down is, yeah, that's pretty much what I would expect for a modernized version of Knockout. I think the head is acceptable, though I do wish the center crest was a little bit higher. The arms are all right. The shoulders could, like I said, have the slight flare coming off them, but like I can sort of accept the shoulders the way that they are. I think the biggest weakness with this guy is the grille and the hood. Even though in vehicle mode this looks like the correct grille, and it looks really good and it's solid, I almost wish that where we have the molded in detail here on the two sides, maybe that had pegged in somehow. Maybe just the front here had a hinge and could somehow bend down. I have seen a couple of attempted fan mod transformations where they don't actually peg the chest into the abdomen and instead push that piece back and try and push the chest down a little bit further. I find that just kind of makes him look tubby rather than the way he's supposed to look. I think this mostly works, but the oversight of not doing a little bit more to capture the chest is the weakness here. It is a fine knockout, and the paint that's used on his pelvis, on his shins, and anywhere else is applied really nicely and has a nice sheen to it. It's not going to be the knockout for everybody. If you have the original, I totally understand seeing it. If you had the Beast Hunters like me, you might want something that looks a little bit more of his kind of traditional gray and red color, and this does do that. I think it's good. It's not absolutely perfect, but I do think it's quite good. By the way, wrist swivel wouldn't hurt. I like the guy more than I thought, and when Starscream Wife picked him up, who was I to say no? Few dollars cheaper than going deluxe price point, and I'm happy with that because I do feel like I kind of got my money's worth with this guy. Let me know what you think about Prime Universe Knockout. I appreciate you coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. Don't forget that somehow, man, some way, each and every single solitary day, you right there, sitting there, lying there, standing there, whatever you're doing, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way right here inside the videos.